Hello. We're here.
Hello. Hi, we're here.
Effie had to come save us again. It's fine.
Welcome to VäkPäker's Guide to
Hello.
TTRPGs. This is chat number 7. Our sponsor for tonight is Canadian Dice. Go to canadiandice.ca and use the code TheVäkTär, all one word, at checkout for 15% off your order. Maggie's dice pick of the week is the Demon Eye dice. When you look into the dice hoard can look back. I think someone said something the other day about this is also the reason that this dice pick is also the reason we're having so many tech issues this week or something. Okay. Who knows? You know, it's a toss-up. Next, make sure
we have tech issues every stream.
It's just life is what it is. Next, check out our merch store at tinyurl.com/VäkMerch, VAKMERCH. You can get excellent designs there like Half Orc Energy and the Vac Blob with 2 new Spooktober designs by Affy. I personally really like the Basic Witch one. I really want it. I probably need to get it. Even though I don't even like pumpkin spice. I think it's funny. Okay. Speaking of Spooktober has officially begun. We're more than halfway through it. We are raising money once again for Extra Life for Kids. Last year, we had a crazy month-long fundraiser ending with a 12-hour organized chaos drop-in game. And we raised just over $1,300 last year. We really hope to do it again this year. I believe we're more than halfway there, which is awesome. You can find the link to donate at www.tinyurl.com/VäkTär Extra Life 2023. Pick a DM, donate to them. There's a competition, but it's not really. The kids win all around. So donate to Extra Life. Make sure kids have things to look forward to while they're stuck in the hospital, getting treatments, things like that. It's a really great organization, so check it out. In terms of this week, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern is the Forge of Eons with me as the Game Master? Light Keeper, I think is technically what
Storyteller, bullshit artist.
Storyteller, whatever. We're playing Candela Obscura is the moral of that story, and it's going to be really fun. It's a game that Critical Role hasn't even come out with yet, so we're really flying by the seat of our pants, but it's going to be a great time. Join us at 1 o'clock for that here. Then at 7:30 tomorrow evening, head on over to DM Jeremy's channel for Legacy of Fire. Affy and Artemis will be over there, and you can jump in on that story. On Monday evening, we're back here for Mistwalkers at 8:30 Eastern. Then Tuesday is our next Spooktober game after Forge of Eons with Table 9, which is a 10 Candles game. That one's with storyteller Ryan from Canadian Dice, our sponsor, is running the show that night. That one's at 8:30 Eastern. Should be a good time. Bring Kleenexes.
I don't know why you would say that, Emily.
I've heard stories. On Wednesday, if you're looking for something a little bit more lighthearted, come back here to check out Brindlewood Bay. It's like Call of Cthulhu meets Murder, She Wrote. A bunch of little old ladies need to solve a mystery. So that's at 8:30 Eastern. That game's going to be fun. That is with GM Woody. We'll say GM because I don't know what they're called in each of the games. And then Thursday, we've got Song of Crystal and Shadow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. They're on Chapter 2 or Season 2?
Season 2.
Season 2. And some real fun, creepy things happened at the end of their last episode, so check that out. And then Friday, we are back here again at 8:30 with Fixius 5. And as always, find our podcast wherever you download your podcasts from. We have them everywhere. That's that for me.
We actually just hit like 1,000 listens for the first time this morning, actually.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah, I was pretty stoked.
That's cool.
Well, should we dive into spells? Because it's going to take us a hot minute to get through these.
It's going to take us a minute. We're on level 2 spells in the player's handbook. Yeah, there's some good ones actually at level 2. Don't knock the level 2 spells, because there's some good stuff in here.
I killed Kayla's character with the level 2 spell, I think. Because I think isn't Guiding Bolt a level 2 spell?
I think so.
Because if it is, I one-shotted Kayla's character with a level 2. Like, because I crit. It was great.
Oh. Ooh, maybe it's... is it level 2 or is it level 3?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Find out when we get there. But anyways, we're going to start with Acid Arrow. I've actually never used this spell. Like, I've seen it,
really?
but I've never used it.
I feel like it's a good one, because there's not a lot of things that are immune to or resistant to acid damage. So it's a good one to have in your back pocket if you really like fire spells, but everything's resistant to fire.
Yeah.
The parrot.
So it does 4d4 acid damage immediately, and then at the end of its next turn. So that's cool that it does more than like just that initial damage. It's kind of cool that it does extra.
Yeah, on
like
the next turn
I really
you do
like
more.
that.
Which makes sense. Acid sticks to you.
Yep. And like, all the other spells that we've talked about, you can upcast, which is nice.
Yep. And it's a chance to crit, which is never a bad thing when you're a spellcaster, because you don't I roll terribly, so
unless it's for story purposes, I've noticed.
I roll terribly, so actually I do fine as a martial character, which is kind of funny. But it's great for spellcasters to be able to just rely on the roll of the DM to save, but sometimes you want to crit. Right. And this is a good way to do that.
So how do you do your crits? Because I do mine max plus rolls. So how do you do yours?
I usually do roll the dice and double it. But you could also roll double the dice, because rolling more dice is always fun.
Exactly. Especially when you get to use real dice. Everybody loves shiny math rocks.
Exactly.
But, and that one has a 90-foot range on it. 1 action. So, yeah, evocation. It's nice.
Yeah.
What do we got next? Aid. So, Aid, I use a lot as a cleric.
Yeah, me too, because it adds to your max, which means you can heal up to that for 8 hours.
Yeah. And especially, so, lower levels is really good, too, because you get 5 hit points to start with this spell, and you can upcast it when you get higher level spells, but it's nice when you're low level, level 1, 2, 3, like that, 5 hit points can make the difference. I've seen it make the difference.
Yeah. Yep.
So
it really does.
Yep.
And
when 3 people,
when you are able to, if you have a small party especially, it's really nice, because then if you upcast it, you can get a good chunk of hit points.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think upcasting only adds hit points, it does not add people.
Yeah.
But it's not a concentration spell, so you could always cast it again.
Yeah, it just lasts for a blanket 8 hours, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
So you can set it and forget it and just keep going.
What's the one lady on TikTok that does like cooking stuff that she'll be like, this is very important. Love it and leave it alone.
I don't
I
know.
I feel like you can do that.
Exactly. You just do that with this.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Alter Self. That's a transmutation spell. Again, this is a spell
Yeah.
I've never used, but I've seen used.
Yep.
Lasts for an hour. You cast it on yourself.
It makes you able to breathe underwater, which is nice.
Yeah.
At only a level 2.
I think Keyleth used this spell a lot.
Yeah.
Because she would like get gills and stuff. So.
Yeah, because you can also give yourself claws.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just straight up change the way it look.
Yeah. That's the natural weapons part of it. Yeah. So you grow claws, fangs, spines, horns, or a different natural weapon of your choice, which is cool. 1d6.
I know also, with when they had Tyrion with them, because he was an artificer, he could do the like cast a spell on a token and give it to somebody.
Yeah.
Thing. Yep. So when they went into the water plane, a couple of them were able to use this, like the spell from a coin.
Yeah.
To
have water breathing. Yeah.
Yeah. Although they ended up having like an apparatus for that anyway, but.
Yeah, but still, it doesn't hurt to be prepared. Like, if you know that you're going into a place like that where, like, you're gonna have to deal with being underwater, like, that's a good use of this particular spell, because it's not like a high level spell. So if you're, you know, like, I think at that point they were what, level 17 or something like that when they did that. So like, at that point you have so many level 2s that it you can just keep casting them into coins like that, which is nice. So.
It's true.
And it says on here sorcerer, wizard, and artificer, but I think, don't druids get it too? Or can they get it if they take something special? Because Keyleth was a druid and she had this spell.
I don't know. I mean, maybe she had it from like a magic item or something?
It could be, yeah. It could be.
I've never used it as a druid. I don't think I've ever seen it on my list. But I mean, you can turn into a swimming animal that can breathe underwater.
That's true. What do we got next?
Speaking of animals, I think I've only seen anyone use this once.
Same.
In my whole life.
Our DM used it we were doing the Storm King's Thunder module, and we were in a town, and our DM had an NPC send an animal messenger to come like fetch us to the.
Okay.
It's like the tower where the Harpers are, or something like that. We had to go visit this tower where the Harpers were, and the animal messenger brought us there. So.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Like, it's good for roleplay purposes, for sure. Like,
yeah. And I think there's like a specific kind of character that would use this spell too. Like, I feel like it's, the flavor of it needs to be right almost. Because you really need to be like the Snow White type. Where you're like, I have all these animal friends. And that's kind of how I saw it in... So, they used it in one of the Dimension 20 games, I believe. Okay. One of them was basically Sleeping Beauty. And she became a Swarm Keeper Ranger. And so she had just like a swarm of weird animals around her all the time. And she had this spell. It's kind of like sending, right?
Yeah.
A message of up to 25 words. But it's via an animal, and it lasts for 24 hours. And they have to be able to get where they're going in that time, right?
Yeah. Yep. To deliver the message. Yep.
Yeah, if the messenger
And
doesn't reach its destination before the spell ends, the message is lost, and the beast makes its way back to where you cast the spell.
yeah,
Interesting. Oh, but you can upcast it to increase the duration. So if
by
someone's really
48
far
hours.
away, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the way that they used their Patronuses in Harry Potter, where they
Oh, yeah.
would send it, like when they went to go warn them of the attack on the burrow. It
Yep.
reminds me a little bit of that.
Yeah. And it's a ritual spell.
Yep. Which is good,
So
you know,
if you've
so you
got
don't.
it, you can use it that way.
Let's see.
Oh my
Arcane Lock.
gosh. I have to interrupt our show for just a second because my friend who I was cat sitting for, they went to New York and they just got back, but they drove through Canada. And she just sent me a picture of some all-dressed chips and she said there's a bag with your name on it.
Heck yeah. That's a true friend right there. Sending all the all dressed chips.
Oh my gosh. Okay, carry on.
That's what Affy has to send us for Christmas is all dressed chips and
Literally
all
all I
soft
want in life
things.
is all-dressed chips. Oh, it's so stupid. But they're so good, okay? If you haven't had them,
It's just crack for
try it.
Americans. It's fine.
It is. Okay, sorry to interrupt. Arcane Lock is next.
I
I
have
only
never
noticed
used
it.
this one.
Sorry, I only noticed it because I saw the picture. And then I was like, okay.
Yeah, so Arcane Lock I have never used because I've played a wizard once and that wasn't their specialty. And my artificer never I don't think I ever used it with that character either. So but basically you can touch like a door or a window or a gate or something that just needs to be locked and then it locks it and basically nothing short of it's like a knock spell, right?
Yeah, it says if you cast Knock, it suppresses Arcane Lock for 10
For
minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. And DC to open it increases by 10. So
Yeah.
I don't use this very often because there isn't a rogue in the party anymore. As
Yeah.
far as like you guys opening doors, plus you have Ram who just kicks stuff in.
Yeah, it's really
So
almost a tool more for a DM to
yeah,
use. Because, like, I think in Critical Role when they were in Uthodurn, doing a little heisty moment, all the cases that had magic items in them had an arcane lock. So, because
Arcane
the
Lock.
DC was 25 for all of those, I recall.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, it's a decent spell. It lasts until it's dispelled. Abjuration. So, you know.
Make locks harder for you and your friends.
Yep. Let's see. What do we've got?
Arcanist's Magic Aura, also known as Nistul's Magic Aura, if
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna
saying that
say, I'm
right.
like, that had a different name the last time I saw it, I swear.
This is the generic version of this spell because they've started doing that because I think they've started doing that because so many people are streaming now.
Yeah.
And the Wizards of Lore, like in D&D, the like Big B and
Yeah.
Melf and like I think they are making it more world friendly, like you can move it around, it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be
So you don't have to try and figure out how to fit those people into your World War if you don't want
right.
to.
Yeah.
Or you're just like me and you don't care because I don't pay attention to that stuff anyways. So
Yeah. Well, and like Critical Role made a whole cartoon and they had to change the name to Scanlan's Hand because
I
think it's copyrighted. So
probably.
stuff like that.
But it does last for 24 hours. It's illusion spell. Let's see. You place an illusion on a creature or an object you touch so that Divination spells reveal false information. So this is another sort of like role play spell, I guess, really, where if you know that somebody's gonna be like scryed on, or
Yeah.
what's another divination spell where there's one where like it reads your surface thoughts, right?
Yeah, like detect thoughts. It could possibly
Sort of.
work against.
Yeah.
Or even like detect magic, because it says it can change the way spells and magical effects detect magical auras.
Yeah.
You can make a non-magical object appear magical. I need to use this as a DM. This is great. A magical object appear non-magical, or change the object's magical aura so that it appears to belong to a specific school of magic that you choose. When you use this effect on an object, you can make the false magic apparent to any creature that handles the item.
Okay.
So even potentially identify could be messed with as well.
Yep. Good way to hide like cursed items.
Yeah. This also says
Not
you
that that's a hint,
change
Appy.
the mask. You change the mask part of it. You change the way the target appears to spells and magical effects that detect creature types. So, like, if you're undead, or if you are like a fiend could use this, and a paladin wouldn't be able to sense them.
Yeah. Yep. Or is it the hollow ones? They come up as undead?
Undead. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
It's a pretty good
a
one.
way to sort of get around that.
But it's another one that, like, the situation would have to be so specific.
Yeah.
You know? Like...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would see that more as a roleplay spell than anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The next one is kind of a roleplay spell too. So augury, I've used augury.
Yeah, me too.
And it had some interesting effects because there is like a half an hour time limit on augury, and Affy, being the DM that she is, literally set a timer with 30 minutes on it, and it made the entire group panic. So
wait, did you use this in Mistwalkers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
we were in Tempest, and I was like, "Hey, I just need a minute alone with the leader of the village person," and we cast augury, and yeah, and I'm like, "Okay, we gotta go. We got a half an hour. We gotta go." So
yeah, I think Kurani used this right before we went to the cave that had the culty people, Children of Air.
Probably. That sounds familiar. I'm pretty sure that I remember Kurani casting this spell. But it's a good spell. As far as like getting information from your DM.
Yeah.
It's a good way to sort of get that. Too bad she didn't use it before we fought some frogs. Yeah.
Well, look,
choices were made. So you cast this spell by using gem inlaid sticks, which I've seen. They're like, it's like pickup sticks almost. I've seen them like in real life. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or like dragon bones or cards. I used a deck of cards. My character has like an old deck of tarot cards or tarot cards that she carries around with her.
Sweet.
And
I feel like one like this can be tricky for a DM because you don't really know what the outcome is going to be. Like,
yeah, because it gives you 4 options for it. So wheel is good results, woe is bad results, wheel and woe is a mixture, and then nothing. So like you can really go kind of all over the place with this spell, and it's sort of up to DM discretion at that point. Like they make a roll, and that tells them what it is.
It does also give the chance to like mess with your players.
Yes. 1000%.
So there's the
Or, you know, your DM gives you a fake diamond and you don't find out about it till 4 sessions later and get really mad about it. So,
What?
yeah.
Did that happen?
Yep.
Oh no.
I'm still mad about it.
You don't say. Well, if you tried to use it to bring somebody back to life, that would suck.
No, thankfully it didn't come to that. But yeah, it was a night. It was a night. That's for sure.
Bark skin.
Yep. That one. I haven't used that one, but I think Aster used that one.
Yeah. I have used it on somebody else.
Okay.
Because my druid had an AC of 16, and somehow our rogue that we had in the party had an AC of 14. So I cast it on him. He died anyway, it didn't matter. But
oh no.
Yeah.
Lasts for an hour, it's a concentration spell.
Yeah. Basically you're like grow bark. You're a little bit more protected. Your AC cannot be less than 16, regardless of what kind of armor you're wearing.
Yep. Which is, you know,
good to use on squishy spellcasters that don't have high enough armor.
Yep. Your glass cannon wizard.
Yeah. The next one is Beast Sense. It's basically the druid or ranger version of what's the one that's clairvoyance, I think it is?
Yeah, I think
where you can like you have like a sensor that you can follow around and see what's going on.
Yep.
They just use this in Burrow's End.
Oh, okay. This one, so you get to see and hear through a beast's eyes. You perceive the way that they see. So this is a good one to use if you have like a wolf or something that you can convince to help you because they have keen senses.
Yeah.
Or there's any number of like beasts. Yeah. Eagle would be good for like if you're looking for like overhead views of stuff because they can see really well.
Or a creature that has dark vision, even if you're like a human and you don't.
Yeah. It's kind of like seeing through your familiar if you have is it the act of the chain or whatever that is, where you can see through your familiar for
I think
a certain distance.
I think so. And you are blinded and deafened to your surroundings, so it is very much like seeing through your familiar.
Yeah. You can cast this one as a ritual though, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Blindness and deafness.
This is
I love this spell, but it never works for me. Every single time that I've tried to use it, it has failed. Like, I love this spell, but it doesn't work. Like,
the bad
not
guys
for me.
always have a good con save. That's what I've been learning lately.
Well, you guys have been fighting, at least in Fixius, you guys have been fighting some pretty, like, heavy-hitting dudes.
Yeah.
So.
If you can make it work, it's nice because it really messes up spellcasters, because if there's anything a spell that they try to use that's like creature that you can see, you can mess that up. But just as personal preference, I prefer silence more than this spell.
Yeah.
And it's because
that's because it's a radius.
Yeah.
This one would be
like,
nice.
They have to. You can force them to move.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also.
This one would be nice though because if you cast it, like if you're like Karani and you need the quiet, you cast it on yourself. At least it moves with you.
That's true.
So. And then you don't hear. You don't hear when your party's being insane.
That's true. I'll keep that in mind for when she comes out of her coma.
There you go. She's got to come out of her coma first.
Though. You know what's great too is that's a necromancy spell. It's sometimes I'm just tickled by that stuff. That like I would think that this blindness, would be, deafness, necromancy.
I would think it would be like a transmutation spell because it's altering something.
I know, right?
Right? But
apparently not.
You know, whatever. You do you. Next one is Blur. Blur's cool. I like Blur. It's a good spell.
Yeah. It is a good
Eh,
spell. A lot of people get it.
concentration. Yeah, lots of classes get this one, and its concentration lasts for a minute, and it's good because it gives it's very similar to, so my character Keelai has a cloak of displacement. It's very similar
Yeah.
to that. It gives disadvantage on attacks
Just
against
straight
you.
up disadvantage.
Yep, which is nice. It doesn't. Let's see. An
An
attacker's immune is.
attacker's immune to it.
So if it
they
doesn't
have
rely
true
on
sight.
its sight, or if they have true sight, or blind sight. So, but good spell all around.
A swarm of bats won't have disadvantage on you. Now you know.
Yeah.
Although, don't rogues basically get like limited blind sight at some point? It's like within 10 feet.
Maybe. I don't
I'm
remember.
gonna look it up.
Or maybe it's a certain kind of rogue that gets that, but
Yeah.
it's an illusion spell, obviously.
Oh. Level 14. Starting at level 14, if you are able to hear, you are aware of the location of any hidden or invisible creature within 10 feet of you. It's called blind sense, but it does not say it gives you blind sight.
Yeah. So basically you get like bat radar.
Yeah, I feel like an argument could be made though, because you're not relying on your sight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. A rogue could get around. Maybe. Okay.
Maybe.
Sorry.
Let's see. What do we got
Making
next?
arguments for things that have nothing to do with it. Don't use my genius in your games.
This is the Vector. We would never do that.
You'll end up down with NADPOD at D&D court trying to be like, this lady on VäkPäker's guide said that I could get away with this, but my DM said no.
Shifty eyes.
Look, your DM is the ultimate arbiter of what happens in your game. Don't blame me if you try to use that and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It might work.
Yeah.
I would allow it in my game. So if you're ever in one of my games, there you go. Level 14 rogue.
You heard it here.
You can get around Blur.
Alright, so we got Branding Smite next. This is an evocation spell, bonus action, which is nice. It is a concentration spell. And when you hit with the weapon attack before the spell ends, you do extra radiant damage. So that's fun.
And this is another one of those things that makes invisible things visible.
Yep. And
that's kind of nice.
5 foot light.
Yeah.
So, and they can't become invisible again until the spell ends, which is good.
Yeah.
You can upcast
as long
this
as
one.
you can concentrate.
Yep. Which is good. Not fighting invisible bad guys is always fun.
Yeah. It would be good for I know it has Paladin on here, but if you're a Hexblade and Warlock spells are always at max level.
Mm-hmm. This is a good one to have.
That'd be dope.
Battle
be real good.
Artificer.
Yep. All right. Oh, here's a good one. I've used this so many times. Anytime you're in a diplomatic situation, you want to have this stocked. Anytime you have
a party
serious...
full of edgelords.
Or I used to stock it when Aster was still afraid of fire. Because if it would hurt us in the middle of a fight,
yeah,
could be real bad. So
yeah, Breeze uses it on Athelstan a lot in Mistwalkers.
Makes sense. Yeah. Speaking of edgelords,
I don't know what you're talking about. That's
You
a whole
can.
party full of them.
It is a 20-foot radius sphere, which is nice. And it's centered on a point you choose, not on yourself. They have to make a charisma save, which almost no one ever has very high, unless you're like a bard or something.
I use charisma as a dump stat in every single character I've ever made, except for my bard.
I do it often as well.
I'm not a very charismatic person, I feel like, so it makes sense that I would not put points in charisma. So, yeah, we know you main warlocks. Eldritch Blast is your favorite spell.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
I'm trying to think. I think Eerie also has a low. Yep, 11 charisma.
That's
Super
like average.
cheerful, which no one likes.
They are a morning person in a party full of night owls. Night owls and permanently exhausted pigeons.
Yeah.
So.
You can suppress any effect causing a target to be charmed or frightened.
Mm-hmm.
That's handy.
That's nice with the charmed effect. Although in Fixius, we haven't really come across too many creatures that use charmed because A,
no,
I just don't use them, and B, I forget to use them. So, but I did try that one night, like when you guys were fighting the vampire dude down in the tomb below Alto here.
Yeah,
I did try it on Ram, but Ram saved. So
I was gonna say, I don't know if I ever really paid attention to the second part. Alternatively,
words are hard.
You can make a target indifferent about creatures of your choice that it is hostile towards. So if you don't want to fight someone, you can cast Calm Emotions and they will stop. It'd give you a chance to get away. Yeah. Which I never thought about before, but it'd be a good escape.
This is a good one to use after you've used one of those spells that like messes with somebody's mind and it ends and it causes them to become aggressive. This is a good one to have for like after that, so you can calm them down right away.
Yeah.
So it would be a good combo to have.
Interesting. Cloud of Daggers. This one sounds good to me, but I've never used it.
I've used it once, I think. Yes. This is
it
the one
seems fun. Like the idea of it is fun.
Yeah, you basically summon a cloud of daggers around your person in a 5-foot cube or on a person that you can, or a point that you can see, and it does exactly what you would think it would do. It does slashing damage, 46 worth of slashing damage, and lasts for a minute. It's concentration.
Stabby.
The only thing about this one is that you can't move it.
Yeah, that'd be kind of nice if you could move it.
But you could put it like in a doorway or something, so that it blocks somebody's escape or like blocks their retreat.
Literal fatal funnel.
Yeah, pretty much.
That'd be kind of fun.
And you can upcast it like everything else.
Nice. Continual Flame is the next one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a spell that you use when you get a house.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's it.
You just turn all of the things into continual flames.
Yeah,
it's fine. I don't know that I've ever seen this used outside of like this object has continual flame cast on it. Like, I don't think I've ever seen it used for anything else. Yeah, it's like referred to in Detect Magic when you're like, all the lights give off a glow.
Okay. Thanks a lot. It's evocation also, and I don't know that I understand why. And it's expensive. It's like 50 gold pieces of ruby dust each time.
Which is a lot.
Wizards be rolling in it, I guess. Although clerics can do it too, but clerics it's expensive to be a cleric anyway. If you're spending all your money on diamonds to save people, you're not wasting it on continual flames.
Yeah, no. That's definitely a role play spell, I feel.
Yep.
Like, and I mean, we've seen plenty of role play spells, so you know,
Yeah,
it
that's
all really
true.
depends on the kind of campaign that you're in.
Yeah, and what your character is, like what kind of stuff they do.
Yeah.
I could see it being a part of a campaign for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't know that I would ever use it.
Yep.
Unless there was like downtime. It's like a downtime spell
Yeah.
for me.
There aren't very many campaigns I've seen that have a lot of downtime in them, though.
Mm-mm.
It's a lot of hurry up and go in
Yeah.
most campaigns. Because a lot of times you're like fighting a clock.
Yeah.
So, like you guys in Fixius for sure are fighting a clock because you have to figure your shit out before he gets loose. So,
Yeah.
so yeah. Like you do.
The next one. Okay, so I've never used Cordon of Arrows.
Me
I
either.
feel like it's another one of those that requires a very specific situation where it's like you know someone's coming to attack you, so you set up a trap. Because you have to plant you plant like 4 arrows or something in the ground, and you magically set them like a trap to protect the area until the spell ends whenever a creature other than you comes within 30 feet of the ammunition for the first time on a turn, or ends its turn there. 1 piece of ammunition flies up to strike it. The creature must succeed on a dex save or take 1d6 piercing damage. The ammunition is then destroyed. The spell ends when no ammunition remains. So it's basically a way to set up attacks when you know someone's coming, and then get your regular attacks on top of it.
Yeah, Bree said it's great to work in tandem with Alarm or Tiny Hut.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I just don't know that I've ever used this spell, so it's
I don't think
specific
I
to
have.
rangers, so which makes sense.
Yeah.
You can upcast it so that the amount of ammunition that can be affected increases by 2 each slot that you use. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So you could really set up like a whole sort of area.
Could be very useful in some situations for sure.
Yeah, like if you're protecting like a house or something and you know that things are going to be coming at you from different directions, that would be good because
Yeah.
you could put them in different places then.
Mhm.
So I could see it working really well for something like that.
I don't know. It doesn't say. Does it say anything about like being able to make it permanent if you do it so many times with? I don't think it does, right?
No.
Because it only lasts 8 hours, so it would have to be a longer term solution for 1 day. That makes sense.
Spell ends when there is no ammunition remains. So, yeah. Again, that's another one of those sort of very specific ones.
Now, I know we're not done with this page, but I need to use the restroom. Do you want to stop when we get to the end of the C's? Because this is the last one of the C's.
Yeah. I mean, we're
Crown
only
of
like
Madness.
4 from the bottom.
Yeah.
Can you get to there?
Sure.
Okay.
I drank a lot of water to try to get rid of a headache.
Buddy.
It worked.
A little fast. Crown of Madness. The spell never works for me. I've tried to use it so many times this month.
Oh,
it never
really?
works. Yep.
Oh,
I've tried to use it at
bummer.
least 5 times and it never works. Every single time. So
it's how you get someone to attack their own people, basically, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And I think, if I remember correctly, Ford used this spell.
Yeah.
In campaign
when they
2.
were in
is it not Rex and Trum, but
Zadash.
Zadash, yep. So one humanoid of your choice within range, they have to succeed on a wisdom save, or they are charmed, and if they're charmed, you can make them attack their people.
Yep.
Good spell. Doesn't work for me.
You do have to use your action each turn after that to make sure you keep control.
Yep. Yep.
They can also save at the end of each of their turns. Yeah. If you can get it to work, though, it sounds good.
Yeah, that's my problem. It never works. Yeah. Darkness. Concentration spell. Lasts for 10 minutes. This one is nice because you can like create an area that is obscured, and it kind of helps you get away.
Yep, I have used it to get away before with a drow.
Yep. It
Character.
creates magical darkness, which is good. So anything that doesn't have, is it true sight, can't see through it. So
yeah,
which is good.
The only thing that can see through magical darkness is a certain pact of warlock, I believe, or it's like a certain warlock. I can't think of the word.
Devil sight. Invocation.
Yeah, invocation. Thank you. Also, light clerics can dispel darkness with their
Your
cool thing that they could do.
Yeah.
And do damage at the same time.
Yep.
Which is always fun.
Dark vision. I didn't realize that dark vision was like a spell you can take. I just thought it was a thing that either you had or you didn't have. Like
it lasts 8 hours too, which is actually longer than I realized that it did. I don't think I realized it was 8 hours long. It is kind of nice. This is what I was talking about. There's some good second level spells that you can use it and forget about. Like Aid has an 8-hour duration. Dark Vision has an 8-hour duration. I'm pretty sure Longstrider you can cast on multiple people. I think that one only lasts an hour, but it gives you faster speed. Like,
yeah,
there's a bunch of them that you can kind of do like that aren't concentration, and you can just kind of stack them up on people.
Yep. Yeah, which is nice
if needed. It lets you see in the dark, in case you weren't sure what dark vision does.
In case you've only ever played as a human.
Yeah. Thank you, Appy.
Yeah, for Devil Sight, yeah. Last one is Detect Thoughts.
They've been using this a lot in Campaign 3 of Critical Role because they have multiple people that have this spell. You can read the surface thoughts with no save. And if you want to probe deeper into a target's mind to get secrets, they have to make a wisdom save. They will know that you are probing into their mind. Yeah.
And they become hostile to you afterwards, right? Or is this not
that? I mean, it depends. Because they've, like, used it on one another to try and find, like, secrets of, like, parts of their lives that they've forgotten about, too, so...
Oh, okay.
Or at least, I've seen them do that in Dimension 22. There was one that a character had, like, significant memory loss, and they used Detect Thoughts to figure out that they had something done to them, like a Modify Memory. You can also use the spell to detect the presence of thinking creatures you can't see. That's a cool use of the spell.
Yeah. So that's like if you are in a room and you're not entirely sure that if something is there or not, that's a good use of the spell.
I do also like that there is specifically a line in here that says, questions verbally directed at the target creature naturally shape the course of its thoughts. So this spell is particularly effective as part of an interrogation.
Yep, which is cool.
Yeah.
If you like are role playing that out, it's
and it's cool. Cheap. It only costs 1 copper per casting.
You know, like you do. Wizards love their cheap spells, so
right. All right. Let's take a break.
Okay.
Hello. We're back.
He's a kitten.
In case we have a pasta in case you're hungry. Just kidding.
She will try to steal your pizza. Because for whatever reason, she doesn't eat human food except for pizza. She really likes pizza.
That's very funny.
I don't know. She's weird. Like her mom.
Cat. She's like,
I'm just
yes,
kinda
I
scared."
am. Let me stand up more regally.
She's here because she heard her favorite person talking, that's why.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now she's going to fall asleep on your shoulder.
You love your TT, don't you?
Oh, we are going through second level spells, and we had a posture check and hydrate. Make me hydrate after I just have to go to the bathroom.
Thanks, Alyssa.
Gosh.
I can't posture check because there's a cat. She's the reason I have terrible posture.
Okay.
That I, just like curl over my stuff when I'm working and stuff.
Yeah, definitely not that.
Nope, not at all. All right, we're on page 2, Emily. We can do it.
Page 2.
This is enhanced ability.
We're into the E's. This is the first E one, I think.
Yep. I've used this spell one time, and it was so that Keelai could kick in a door. Because Breeze decided that it was a really good idea to go see some shady-ass back alley doctor to see if they could get their, because they lost 50 years of their life, so they were going to try and get it back by any means necessary, and they went to go see this shady doctor in some alley, and there was a serial killer on the loose, and Keelai was like, nope, anxiety, and so I kicked in the door with Bear's Endurance. Yeah. It's the only time I've ever used this spell.
I have used it a couple times. Usually it's when I know, we're going into a situation where someone needs to be extra convincing, or we need to be extra stealthy, or whatever.
Yeah, I can see, so the Cat's Grace is a good one, for sure. It gives you advantage on dexterity checks, and you don't take damage if you fall from 20 feet or less, which is nice.
The Constitution one is nice because you get 10 hit points.
Yep. Yeah. That's why I used it, because I wasn't sure what I was going to be facing when I kicked that door in, and it was just me and Breeze. So, because, split the party, it's a good idea.
I mean, why not? Yeah, I've used it a couple times. I think I've used it a lot for Eagle Splendor as well. Usually in a situation where we know you have to convince somebody of something.
Okay, yeah. Because that gives you advantage on charisma checks, so that's nice.
Charisma checks, yeah.
It's a concentration spell. Lasts for an hour.
Okay.
Enlarge or reduce. We love this spell. This is like a staple D&D spell for pretty much any sort of sorcerer or wizard, because if you got somebody in your party like a barbarian, this is a great spell to use on them because it makes them big, for one, and also it gives them extra stuff when you make them bigger.
Yep. We just used it last night. Well, Alyssa just used it last night. On Ram.
Because, Ram needs to be 15 feet tall.
Big Ram. Hit hard.
Like you do.
As long as you can hit.
Yeah. So they're Big Ram go Bambo.
Yeah. Honestly though, Big Ram with haste, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
At some point.
That would be a dope combo.
It'd be really good.
Would have been great last night, but no.
I couldn't keep concentration on anything.
Yeah. To be fair, you were fighting a death knight, so
yeah,
it's fine.
And then I didn't get a chance to. I should have done it before we even walked in the room, but
yeah. So the target size doubles. So if you use the enlarged end of it, the target size doubles in all dimensions, and its weight is multiplied by 8. So Ram, who weighs 800 pounds, now suddenly weighs way more than that. It's great. Great. The
weapons do an extra d4 damage. You can also use it to reduce. I've only seen that happen once, and it was with a enlarge reduce spell, potion, not spell, and it was when Scanlan and Vax went inside the dragon.
Yep.
Jeez. Yeah. Reduce basically just lets you be a small creature. You have disadvantage on strength checks, strength saving throws, and your weapons do less damage. But you are lighter, you're halved in all dimensions, which means you can sneak into places usually. So that's kind of nice.
Yep. It is a concentration spell, so it's got a 30-foot range, and it lasts for a minute. So
yeah.
We got Enthrall after that, which is...
I have never used this, and it's because it's a Bard and Warlock spell.
Yeah.
But it would be fun to use this spell, I think.
Let's see. So you basically are... they have to make a wisdom saving throw. And if you or your companions are fighting the creature, then they have advantage on it. If they fail it, target has disadvantage on perception checks made to perceive any other creatures in your spell ends. Okay, so I mean,
it's a great way to make a distraction.
Yeah, yep, it's good for that. Like if you need to get away from like some guards or something like that, or a singular guard.
Yeah,
it's good for that kind of stuff. I feel like this one is kind of situational, really.
Yeah. It is kind of cool, though, because creatures of your choice that you can see within range. That means, and that can hear you. So you could be standing up in front of a crowd full of people, and anyone within 60 feet of you has to make a wisdom save. It's interesting. Interesting spell.
Yeah.
Find Steed. Now this is a paladin one. And this...
We know how we all feel about how we feel about paladins. So
well, here's the thing though. This is the spell that makes me want to play a paladin.
Yeah. Because
I have seen... So if anyone has seen the second season of The Unsleeping City on Dimension 20, they have 2 paladins, both of whom have used this spell to gain a steed. And when you have your steed with you, your speed is like ridiculous because you can use your steed's movement to move around. Like a warhorse's speed is 60 feet. So you can potentially have them use their action to dash, or you can have them dodge. You can the things that allows you to do in combat are very cool. You can go really fast and you can hit things, and then I think there's something about it too that's like, and any spells that are target you also target your steed. So if you get haste cast on you, your steed has haste. But also, I feel like there's something, I don't know if this is part of a feat or part of the paladin class or something like that. But there was something in one of those combats where if the bad guys made an attack against the steed, the person could take the hit instead, so they couldn't kill their steed. So they're just like zipping around like so fast through the whole fight, and their steeds were never getting hit because they were just soaking all the damage for their steeds.
Yeah.
It was actually...
I would be the one that summons the elk just because I think it's funny. And
elk are cool. Okay.
So, and like...
elk are cool.
They are. They're awesome. And they get, like, their charge move is nice.
Yep.
So, you know, there's that. Like, war horses are good.
Yeah.
But mastiffs I've seen mastiffs used for, like, halflings a lot.
Yeah.
Or smaller races.
I feel
I
like
don't think that I've ever seen anybody use a camel before, but then again, I haven't really seen a lot of desert campaigns until we ended up in
Right.
hard here. So
Yeah. I think, well, and honestly, like, all of these spells that have, like, a specific list or something, you can flavor something so many ways.
yeah.
Like,
Yep.
in the Unsleeping City, it's modern-day New York. So they each had a steed. One of them was a firefighter, which meant his steed was a Dalmatian.
There you go.
And the other guy was a mall goth,
Oh, what?
and his steed was a moped.
There you go.
He was a mall goth sword guy. You need to watch Unsleeping
Or
City.
like a
so
segue,
good.
that would be funny too.
Segue. Just to
We
that's the
we
dad
have those
paladin.
here.
The dad paladin. You can.
We have those here in the city that in the city that I live in, down in the business district. I see them a lot there because you can rent them from there's a kiosk down there, and you just see people on segways down there, and it's like it's just a trip. Like
Yeah. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Oh, now I kind of do want to play a paladin.
Oh man. That'll make
Trap.
Maggie happy. They'll make Maggie happy because they like paladins.
I have played a paladin before, okay? It's just been not that much.
I played one paladin, but I have no interest in ever playing a paladin again, so it's fine. Let's see, what do we got next? Find traps. So this is a good one if you're like going through a tomb or a place that, like ruins or something like that, and you know that there's probably going to be traps there because especially if you're like our groups that we all play in, there's booby traps and you booby right into them because nobody's looking. Yep.
Here's the thing though, because I've only used this once before, and then maybe it was just the DM that I was with, that it didn't turn out the way I hoped.
Okay.
Because, and technically they were right, which is just infuriating. It says...
Oh god, how dare your DM be right?
How dare you? You sense the presence of any trap.
Hydrate.
The spell
it's all I have my water bottles way over there.
It goes into a little detail like about what a trap is, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then it says, the spell merely reveals that a trap is present. You don't learn the location of the trap, but you do learn the general nature of the danger posed by the trap. So it doesn't tell you where it is, which I think is silly. It should tell you where it is. Maybe that's just me. I think it should tell you where it is.
Also sense an area affected by alarm or glyph of warding or a mechanical pitch up. Yeah. I feel like it should tell you like the general area that it's in. But and maybe as a DM you could rule it that way. Like you could say like it points you in this area. You think there's a trap there. But next is Flame Blade. I've used this one. So my very first D&D character ever was a druid. Because, never go half-ass. And I used Flame Blade with that character. It's a good spell. Concentration. You evoke a fiery blade in your free hand, similar in shape and size to a scimitar. And if you let go of it, it disappears, but you can bring it back as a bonus action. And if you hit with it, it does 3d6 fire damage, and it sheds bright light for 10 feet. Pasta's trying to unplug my headphones. Can you not? Thank you. I can just feel her underneath my desk, like tugging on the cord.
Like, give it to me.
And at higher level, you can do more damage. So it's a good spell. It does require concentration. So
but it lasts 10 minutes.
Keep in mind. Yeah. Yep.
Which in a dungeon crawl can be multiple combats.
Yes.
If you can keep it going. Just
Mhm.
have to have a high enough Constitution, which your dump stat is charisma. My dump stat of choice is Constitution. Which is
As we've seen with Karani.
That's the problem. Even Eerie only has a +2.
Oh goodness. And they're a frontline fighter.
Yep.
What could go wrong?
It's
Okay.
fine. Flaming Sphere.
Also a spell I've used. It's been a while, but I have used this
Yeah.
one.
My druid hasn't used fire spells in a while because she's an Arctic druid and because Amber Temple. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Gotta love
Packs
that.
were made.
Of course they were. Why wouldn't they have been?
You know? She's not good anymore. What can I say?
Asta has the zoomies.
Flaming Spear is great. A 5-foot diameter sphere of fire appears in an unoccupied space of your choice. I've seen people use this. You can use it to hurt another creature or set a building on fire. A la Vox Machina. A creature takes 2d6 fire damage on a failed dex save if they end their turn within 5 feet of the sphere. You can move the sphere as a bonus action up to 30 feet. If you ram the sphere into a creature, they must make a saving throw against the sphere's damage, and the sphere stops moving this turn. When you move the sphere, you can direct it over barriers up to 5 feet tall, jump it across pits up to 10 feet wide. It ignites flammable objects not being worn or carried and sheds bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for an additional 20 feet. So yeah, I've seen... they burned a whole house down in Vox Machina in campaign 1 at Critical Role.
That tracks.
With this spell and a fire breath spell. Between Scanlan and Keyleth.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, because Scanlan used his potion thing, right?
Yeah. And then they burned 2 houses down. Because Scanlan used his potion on the one place, but the first place that they went, Keyleth used Flaming Sphere to draw the Dorolo crest on the roof of the building. Right? I don't know.
Did
Fire happened a lot in Whitestone.
I thought she only did the crest as Skyrite, but that could be... Like, I
Maybe
thought
they wrote something else on the
Scanlan...
roof.
I thought Scanlan did the crest in fire, but
That
maybe
was-
not. I don't know. It's been a while.
Well, he didn't do a crest. He just
He
burned
just
the house
lit the
down.
house on fire. Okay. Yeah.
But
I
that
don't know.
was like the
But
day out. I always forget there were like 3 different houses they went to.
yeah.
Doesn't matter. Gentle Repose.
Yes. This is, let's see, this is a spell you can cast as a ritual. This is good for, like, if somebody dies and you don't want them to come back as a undead. This is a spell for that. It protects against that for, is it 10 days or something? Or yeah, so it lasts for 10 days. So if you're in a place that, you know, dead, like the undead come back after stuff and one of your party members dies, this is a good spell to use because then they can't come back as an undead until you can get them revivified or whatever.
Yep.
Like, not revivified, but whatever the next one up is.
Raised Dead.
Yeah, that one.
It gives you...
So, extend
Yeah,
it to a minute.
the amount of time on this doesn't count against... Okay, so 10 days is all you have to cast Raise Dead. But if you can't get someone in time, you can cast Gentle Repose on them. It gives you like basically an extra 10 days.
Yeah. And this one too, if I remember correctly, it affects Revivify. Like, it gives you extra time for Revivify if you're in combat. Because
Is it like 10 minutes then? Does it just like multiply?
I don't remember, but for some reason I remember reading what's his name?
Jeremy Crawford.
No, he played
Oh, Chris Perkins.
Yeah, that guy. He talked about it, but I don't remember exactly what he had said. But for some reason I thought that it affected Revivify too. But
It might. I mean,
yeah, it's a necromancy spell.
Yeah.
Most of them are when they're like that kind of thing. Yep. Let's see. Gust of Wind. Concentration.
I have used this.
I have not, but I've seen it used. It's a decent utility spell because this one you can use it to like fill sails, right?
Yeah.
On a ship.
I mean, it only lasts like 10 minutes, I think, right?
Yeah,
no,
but it's enough to give you like a burst of speed.
You can also use it to extinguish flames, or if like someone does like a stinking cloud, or what's the one that's like a cloud of death, basically? That's not the name of it. I don't remember.
I know which one you're talking about, but I don't remember the name of it now.
You can disperse that as well.
Yeah.
With this. And it's only 2nd level. I wish it lasted more than a minute. Like, 10 minutes would be great. You can also use it to push someone away from you.
Yep. And it also makes it like it's almost like it makes it difficult terrain when they're moving towards you. Because for every 2 speed they only move 1.
Yeah.
Cloud kill. Alyssa says cloud kill.
Thank you. Cloud kill. Oh no, that was Bree.
Oh, Alyssa said it too.
Oh.
Let's see. Yeah, so as a bonus action on you can change the direction. So that's cool that you can change direction that it goes in.
Yeah. Yeah, you just have to turn.
Get out of the cupboard.
Yeah. You know what else is a good spell?
Heat metal.
Heat metal.
It's a good one.
It's great.
If you're fighting stuff that actually uses metal. The one time that I wasn't listening to the description close enough and they were not wearing enough metal for it to really matter apart from their sword. So I was like, bummer. Well, I guess I make their sword do it and then they just dropped it, so.
You can presumably also use it to like get through a metal gate or something, because I think they've done that with Vox Machina as well. They
melted something to get through. Yeah. If the creature is holding or wearing an object, they take damage from it and must succeed on a Constitution saving throw, or they drop it. Or they can willingly drop it too.
Yeah.
But they take 2d fire damage until the spell ends, which is nice. You can upcast it, which is good. A lot of the transmutation spells you can upcast, which is good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then up next is one of my actual favorite spells. Hold Person. You paralyze somebody so that you can auto crit on them.
Like you do.
Like you do. And it's a wisdom save, which means it doesn't matter if they're good at con saves. Because if they suck at wisdom saves, you can get them with this.
So what you're saying is I need to use this on Ram.
That's not what I meant. No. There was like one fight that we ended up in Barovia in my Curse of Strahd game where we were fighting, what's the guy's name that's Strahd's right-hand man?
I don't know. I purposely didn't like read much about Strahd because of it.
Hold on one moment.
And also I don't remember because
it
when they were doing
R?
Curse of Strahd, I had like just gotten to the VäkPäker's, so like I don't remember much of it.
Yeah.
They were at the tail end of it by the time I got here, so.
Give me a moment.
I don't remember.
Rahadin. I
There you
don't
go.
like him. We were fighting him, and I managed to hold him, and we got a couple crit hits in, and he was in poor shape, but he got away. Oh, he's a pain in the butt to fight. Freaking Rahadin. But that was a good moment. I love hold person. It's a great way to stall a tank and get some of their hit points down.
Yep.
Yeah.
And next up is invisibility. This is a good spell.
Makes you invisible.
So like this is the lower level invisibility one.
Yes.
There is a higher level one that like you can cast spells from if you are like true. Is it greater invisibility? I think it's called.
Yeah.
Where you can cast spells from it. This one you can't. If you cast a spell from it or you attack, you become visible again. But it's good for like sneaking past guards or anything like that. Like it's a good utility spell. And if you upcast it, you can target additional creatures. So I think I used it in Jer's game on Sunday to make Shazzy invisible. I think. I don't know. I don't remember, but I remember using it because my warlock Ava had it.
Giving someone who already has high stealth advantage on a stealth roll. Chef's kiss. Love it.
Yep, it's good.
I don't know why I thought knock was a first level spell, but it's a second level spell. I've never used it before. You can use it to open doors.
Yeah, I haven't used it, but I've seen people use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't have a rogue, it's handy.
And again, this is the other end of the arcane lock spell where it suppresses it for 10 minutes, but it does make a really loud sound. So there's that.
Yep.
So if you're trying to be sneaky about shit, this is probably not the one.
Someone's gonna hear it coming. It does say, when you cast the spell, a loud knock audible from as far away as 300 feet.
Which is a big distance.
Yeah.
Like.
So keep that in mind. Again, in a dungeon crawl, you may draw everybody to you. Lesser Restoration. I do love this spell. Also. You touch a creature and you can end one disease or condition afflicting it. The condition can be blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned.
Or I think we decided that in our game it gets rid of exhaustion. Fixius, because I couldn't remember and we used it for that. So
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I think technically Greater Restoration says it gets rid of a level of exhaustion.
Yeah.
But
none of us could remember that night, and I was like, I panicked.
Take it.
So I panicked that night because I was like, I don't remember what it is that gets rid of it. Sure, why not? We'll use Lesser Restoration. So, but it's fine. I don't really do like levels of exhaustion that much in my game anyways. Yeah. It's really not that big of a deal. Like, at least not in Fixius, I haven't.
I don't think I've ever done much with exhaustion either. It hasn't come up very much.
Yeah. I don't know. Next up is Levitate. I've never used this spell. Mostly because it's a sorcerer and wizard spell. But this is the one you toss them 20 feet in the air, right? Yeah. So one.
Yeah, but it's like object, straight up or down.
Yeah. One creature that you can see within range, you can raise them up 20 feet, up to 500 pounds. So actually, this would not work on Ram. Ram weighs more
Oh,
than that. Ram weighs Ram weighs 800 pounds, right, Bree? Um, an
that's good to
unwilling
know.
creature needs to succeed on a con save. So, target
Um,
something.
it is
Yeah, so
interesting
this
to me
wouldn't work
also
fine.
that you can use uh like push and pull yourself to move yourself around. So you could potentially levitate yourself up to a ceiling and then move around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's interesting.
And it lasts for 10 minutes, so that's cool. It's like flying, but not flying.
Yeah.
So if you know that the ceiling is only 20 feet up, that would make sense that you could use it for that. So,
Right.
60-foot range. So yeah,
Okay,
decent spell.
legitimately, I don't think I've ever even heard of this spell.
Locate. Was it animals or
Animals or
creatures?
plants?
Describe or name a specific kind of beast or plant. Concentrating on the voice of nature in your surroundings, you learn the direction and distance to the closest creature or plant. So, I don't know that I've ever heard of this one either. But also, this is another one of those situational, probably better for role playing spells because
Yeah.
say you're like a druid and you're out looking for a very specific plant to like heal somebody or something like that.
Right.
This would be great for that.
That's true.
And it's within 5 miles. So
Dang.
if we had known that when we were in Valishan, but we don't have a druid. Well, we do, but they weren't there that night because there was somebody that was looking for a plant.
It's also
So
bards and rangers.
that's true.
Isn't
So
is this Mistwalkers?
yeah. So Atlas could have done it for that, but
Or Breeze?
yeah,
Well, but
bards can't
bards,
change their spells though.
no, that's true. So you would have to just have it as a bard. Which seems like maybe you wouldn't want to do that.
Neither can
Anyway,
Atlas. Yeah.
locate object, I'm much more familiar with.
Yes. This one I think I've used a couple of times. Describe a name or name an object that is familiar to you, and you sense the direction.
Yeah.
As long as it's within 1,000 feet. So, I think we used this in Mistwalkers once, but I don't remember. I don't remember.
See,
But
here's
I
the
know I've used
thing.
this spell before.
Here's the thing that with things like
Hey,
this
Rick,
and
thanks for reading.
also this spell and like other spells like find the path and stuff. Like it has stuff in here that says like you can locate a specific object known to you as long as you've seen it up close within 30 feet at least once. If you've
Mhm.
seen it up close, you probably know where it is.
Yeah, unless it's like
So
a lost
why
item.
would you? Yeah, I guess
I mean,
so.
it makes sense if it's a lost item.
But it also makes sense to me that if you've seen any kind of drawing of it, an illusion of it, like anything like that, that would make sense
Yeah, or
as well.
stolen. Yeah. Um. Yeah,
Uh,
I think didn't they use this? Did Jester use this to find something in season 2?
maybe.
I feel like they used like a drawing of it or something.
Yeah.
They were looking for something. I don't know. For
It
some
does say
reason,
the
but
spell cannot locate an object if any thickness of lead blocks a direct path between you and the object, which is why they had a lead-lined box to carry the beacon in.
Yep. Which was smart because they were carting that thing around for a long time.
Yeah.
Let's see, Magic Mouth. So this is a fun spell if you want to mess with people.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good spell. You just put a message on an object and you chuck that somewhere and just let it go, and it's fine. So, 25 words or less, but it can be delivered over as long as 10 minutes.
So you can fake a conversation almost.
Yeah.
If you need to.
Yep.
Well, the funniest part of this spell to me says, when this spell is triggered, a magical mouth appears on an object.
On the object. So it's like a rock that gets a mouth.
It's just
Raleigh, that's all.
If the object you chose has a mouth or something that looks like a mouth, the magical mouth appears there so that the words appear to come from the object's mouth.
Which, again, is weird. But okay.
You can have the spell end after it delivers the message, or it can remain and repeat its message whenever the trigger occurs. So you could just have weird... this would be great for a bard who is like...
just trolling people.
Trying to publicize themselves. They just cast magic mouth everywhere that's like, come see the amazing...
Go with me on this, okay? Go with me on this. This would 1000% be a thing that Cottonwood would do, okay? They would cast this spell on a rock and then use Sovereign Glue to stick it somewhere that you can't get rid of it. Like...
Yes, they would.
1000%. And they'd put it, like, out of reach of people, so...
Yep.
Yes. It's amazing.
I also love that it says, the triggering circumstance can be as general or as detailed as you like.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be, you could literally have, those annoying Halloween decorations that go off anytime someone walks by?
Uh-huh.
You could do that forever.
Viking says that this is an amazing as an alarm spell. So
yeah, that's true too.
Yep. It's a good spell. I like it. I'm here for it. Magic weapon. Everybody loves magic weapon. This is a good spell, especially at low level because it gives you extra, like, it makes your weapon magic so that you can bypass that non-magical weapon damage thing, which really sucks when you're low level.
The downside, though, is that it's a concentration spell.
Yes.
And eventually end up with something that is an actual magic weapon anyway, so then you don't need this anymore.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's a good spell.
Yeah. And this is a duplicate of one we've already done.
Yep.
Melf's Acid Arrow is the same as Acid Arrow.
Yep. Literally.
It just has a name attached to it.
Not the generic version. Load the next page, please. Why are you like this?
We're going through them fast now. We've hit a groove with these spells, let me tell you.
Cooking with gas, as my dad always used to say, which sounds terrifying and very unsafe, but, like you do.
Because I only have one spell on my 4th page.
Yeah, same. Should we try to get through them?
We could do a late run tonight and just try to get through all the 2nd level spells. Or we could pause. But it's up to you.
Well, are you okay if we keep going, Bree? That's the kind of deciding factor.
Okay.
She's watching something, so yeah. She's good. Okay. All right, cool. So mirror image. This one I've seen used, like, I think Jester used this one a lot because it creates duplicates of yourself, and they used to call it Jess dupe.
Yeah, because you can you roll to see if they hit you or a duplicate.
Yes.
And so it keeps you from getting hit all the time. It's really nice.
Yep.
So
the only time it doesn't really work is if you have True Sight or Blind Sight. So.
Yeah. Another spell that I could argue 14th level rogues could get around it. Maybe not technically, but whatever.
So they have to roll a d20 to see if they hit one of your duplicates. And your duplicate's AC equals 10 plus your dex mod. So if you're, fairly dexterous, it's a pretty decent spell. So
that is a part that I don't think I've ever seen anyone use.
No.
I think it's most people roll if it hits them. I don't know if I've ever
Okay.
seen anyone do.
Where the AC is actually
Yeah.
what it says it is.
And to
Yeah.
be honest, it seems like a little unnecessary. It's too much to keep track of. You already have to roll every time to see if it hits the duplicate or yourself.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And the number you have to hit, like to hit, changes with every, like, if you have 3 duplicates, you have to roll a 6 or higher. If you have 2 duplicates, you have to roll an 8 or higher, and 1 it's an 11 or higher to hit. So
The next one is Misty Step, and this is a good freaking spell.
yes, it is, because it's a bonus action for 1.
Yeah.
Which is great, and it lets you poof, and they can't take op attacks on you when you use it. So
Useful to get away. There's also a version of this spell that Eladrin have that has an extra ability, and it's really fun.
because you get to use it as Eerie.
Yeah. But I think, like, because it depends on what season you are. So, like, Eerie can use it to teleport somebody else.
Yeah.
Which is nice. So if someone else is hurt, like when Aster got hit really hard, I could get Aster out of there. But
yeah,
like,
because Aster got wrecked for a little bit last night.
I think if you're a summer Eladrin, you do extra damage when you use it. I feel like I don't remember what the others are. It's kind of nice. It's called Face Step in that instance.
Yes. Yeah. I remember that.
But it works almost the same way. So that's kind of cool.
Moonbeam. This is a good spell. This is a good druid spell.
I love it.
Atlas in Mistwalker has actually used this spell quite a few times, because when we were fighting, I want to say this is when we were fighting the vampire dude at the asylum. I'm pretty sure that Atlas used it then, and they used it when we were fighting George. I remember that. And, because why not use it against a Kraken? And
it's super useful in Barovia.
Yes.
And probably just in the freaking domains anyway.
In general. Yeah. It's a good spell.
Really good spell. It's a lower level, but it still does a decent amount of damage.
Yep. 5-foot radius, 40-foot high, centered on a point within range. When a creature enters the spell for the first time or starts its turn there, it's engulfed in ghostly flames that cause pain. They must make a con save, and it takes 2d10 radiant damage, which is great. Like, anything that does like radiant damage when you're in a place like Barovia or just any place like that, really, like, radiant is key.
The nice thing too, well, especially like particularly with Barovia, is, at least I found with my druid, a shape changer makes a saving throw with disadvantage.
Yes,
if it fails, it also instantly reverts to its original form and can't assume a different form until it leaves the spell's light. So works on vampires, works on werewolves. Great spell.
Rare creatures in general, really, because like I love werebears because they're like chaotic good beings. Like, they're great. I just love them. They go around fixing things when they turn into their werebear self.
Yeah.
I love them.
This next one is a duplicate of one we already went, but it has a name. Nistul's magic aura is the same as magic aura, or whatever it's called. It's Arcanist magic aura, I believe it's called.
Pass without a trace. Everybody loves this spell. It's great. Gives you +10 to your stealth.
Yep.
Concentration lasts for an hour. Yep. Amazing. Druids, Rangers, Trickery Domain. It's a good spell.
Also, Earth Genasi get 1 use of this a day.
Yes, they do. Yep.
Good spell.
Good spell.
Worth the use. It only lasts an hour. Still worth it.
Yep. And the part about it, like, that I forget about, I guess, sometimes, is that you can't be tracked by anything except for magic.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't see that part of it used a lot, but it's good. It's a good way to like trick.
Yeah, you don't even leave like footprints or anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Phantasmal Force is the next one. I have never used this spell, I don't think. But it's
this is the one that makes you see something that you perceive as real, right?
Yeah, it's like on a failed save, the phantasmal object, creature, or other visible phenomenon is perceivable. You create a phantasmal object, creature, or other visible phenomenon that is no larger than 10-foot cube and is perceivable only to the target for the duration. The phantasm includes sound, temperature, and other stimuli also evident only to the creature. The target can use its action to examine it with an intelligence investigation check. If the check succeeds, the target realizes it's an illusion.
Yes.
While
I've seen this one used to like convince somebody that they were on fire.
Yeah, because you can do damage with it. I think it's psychic damage.
Yeah.
Technically.
1d6 psychic damage.
Yeah, the part that you were talking about is while the target is affected, the target treats the phantasm as if it were real. The target rationalizes any illogical outcome from interacting with the phantasm. Yeah.
Yep. I like the thing about the bridge where it says if the target walks out onto a bridge that they thought was still there and it's not actually there, if the target survives the fall, it still believes the bridge exists and comes up with some other explanation for its fall. It was pushed, it slipped, or a strong wind might have blown them off. Nice. Great. Let's see. Next up we got Prayer of Healing. So this is good. Up to 6 creatures of your choice that you can see. They regain 2d8 plus your spellcasting mod.
Yeah.
This is a good cleric spell. Just in general, it's a good cleric spell to have. I think Keylight pretty much always has this one packed.
Good for a quick break between combats. If you've got like 10 minutes instead of an hour, where people can't heal up all the way, you can use Prayer of Healing. Quick 10-minute healing.
Can be upcast, which is nice.
Yep.
So
nice. It's a
good one.
Pale.
Protection from poison. So this is, again, this one I feel is a very situational one. Like, it's a good spell because poison, like when you're poisoned in combat, it sucks. But again, it's sort of situational. Like, if you're not fighting something that does poison damage, or you're not dealing with a situation where you might become poisoned, it's kind of like, meh.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all right.
What is nice about it is if you know you're going to be fighting a green dragon, this is a lower level than protection from energy. And it's not concentration. So you can cast this on multiple people and be resistant to the poison damage from a dragon at 2nd level. And that is nice. You okay?
Yeah, I got a message from somebody that...
Oh.
Give me one moment here. Keep talking. Just give me a moment.
The next one is Ray of Enfeeblement. I have not used this very much. I know that this is a Grave Domain one, because I think Caduceus only used it once. So it's like Death, Grave, and Blood Domain clerics, warlocks, and wizards. It's a cool spell. It only lasts a minute, but basically it's a necromancy spell that takes your strength away. So if you're fighting something that's really beefy and it's hitting with strength-based attacks, it will make it so that even if they hit you, they only deal half damage. They can make a con save against it, but I don't know, it's a really good spell. Usually if something has high strength, it also has high con, but that's not necessarily always the case. And there's 60-foot range. I think you have to roll to hit. Is that right? Range spell attack. So you have to roll to hit. But on a hit, yeah, they are enfeebled. Their damage only does half damage. And that's a nice way to get resistance for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rope trick is what?
I've never used rope trick. Like,
No?
I've heard of it, but I've never used it.
It's a good escape spell. It's it says you touch a length of rope that's up to 60 foot long, but it doesn't have to be 60 feet. It can be 5 feet long. And you can just climb up. You basically climb into this extra dimensional space. You can see out of it, but other people cannot see into it. You can hold up to 8 medium or smaller creatures. You can pull the rope in to make the rope disappear. And it's basically like a mid-air safe haven.
Yeah. I always picture it kind of like a mid-air tree fort that nobody can see.
Yes. Yes.
Like, yeah. I've never used it though. So.
Yeah. It does only last an hour, so it's really only good for like a short rest.
Mm-hmm. But it's a good place to go, like hide, if you need to get away from something for a little bit so that you can use hit dice and that sort of thing. So.
Yep. I don't want to give anything away. If you've watched A Crown of Candy, they use this at some point, and it's kind of an epic use. It's a good spell.
Okay.
Don't sleep on rope.
Okay. Let's see. What do we got? Scorching Ray.
Scorching Ray.
I've used this one. You create 3 rays of fire. You hurl them at targets within range. They do 2d6 fire if they hit. You can upcast it for an additional ray.
You rolled a hit each time?
Yes. Make a ranged spell attack, yep. So, yeah.
If you're rolling lucky, multiple crits are possible.
Jared says it's the most overused 2nd level spell.
This one? Scorching Ray?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever used it.
I think Circle of Wildfire just get this spell. Like, I believe that it's one of their, like,
always
their circle spells.
Always prepared, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's a good spell.
Oh, light clerics get it too. That's right.
Do they? Oh, I guess, yeah, it makes sense. The Genie, the Fiend. Those packs. Let's see, what do we got? See Invisibility. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Every sorcerer and wizard I know spams this. That makes sense. For the duration, you see invisible creatures and objects as if they're invisible. You can see into the ethereal plane. Ethereal creatures and objects appear ghostly and translucent. So this is basically the mushrooms that they ate in campaign 2 that Bo and Molly got into. Is basically this as a spell, but like in mushroom form. It's pretty great. Yep. I think there is a potion too that lets you do it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And like
it's a good spell.
True Sight is the Big Daddy version of this.
Yep.
But yeah, see invisibility is pretty good as long as you know there's something to see.
Yeah. Although seeing into the ethereal plane could be fun, for roleplay purposes. Because why not?
I mean, absolutely true.
Next up is Shatter. This is a good spell. I like Shatter because there are a lot of different things that you can do with it.
Yeah.
It does
not good for stealth.
Thunder damage. No. Like, if you're trying to be quiet, this is not the spell that you want to use. But you can use this to, like, knock shit over or, anything like that. I think I used it to destroy a wall.
It does a decent amount of damage, too. It's like 3d8. That's pretty good.
And you can increase that for every up level every upcast that you do, which is good.
And again, it's thunder damage, which not a lot of creatures are resistant to.
Yep. And anything that's made of inorganic metal or material such as stone, crystal, or metal has disadvantage on it. So, which
Does
is
that,
pretty cool.
to you, does that mean an earth elemental would have
Yes,
disadvantage?
I would think that an earth elemental would have disadvantage on this because technically they're
Great.
made out of stone, I guess.
Aren't some of them vulnerable to thunder damage, or am I imagining that?
I have no
Maybe
idea.
I'm imagining that.
I don't remember. I don't use elementals all that often, so. Next up is Karani's favorite spell, Silence. They have cast this spell on their party more times than they have cast it on
Multiple
anything
times.
else.
Silence is a great spell when you know you're going to be up against a spellcaster. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Or
they
you
can't
have a
cast
party
anything
that
in the radiant.
doesn't lie
Yeah.
and feels the need to just spill all their secrets while they're standing in a lobby like you do. Fine.
Earth elementals are vulnerable to thunder damage.
Okay.
Now you know.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Let's see here. Silence is concentration and can be cast as a ritual. I love why you would want to cast it as a ritual. I don't necessarily understand.
If you are waiting outside and you're listening to people chant in some sort of creepy whatever, and you know it's going to take them an hour to do whatever ritual, and yours only takes 10 minutes, I would do it. Stop their ritual. Also, you're immune to thunder damage inside Silence. The next one we've got is Spider Climb. There is a magic item that does the same thing, but if you don't have it, you can take this spell. My druid in Curse of Strahd has this that she can use at will, because Amber Temple and hacks were made, multiple. You can walk on walls, walk on the ceiling, and it leaves your hands free. You gain a climbing speed equal to your walking speed. So that one is nice. It is a concentration spell up to an hour, though. Spike Growth is next. Another good druid spell, a good ranger spell.
Yes.
Nature Domain clerics get this also. Basically, you make an area of difficult terrain. The ground looks normal, but when a creature moves into it or moves within the area, they take 2d4 piercing damage every 5 feet they travel. And it's a pretty large swath. So, if they try to move through the whole thing, it could do a decent amount of damage. Any creature that can't see the area at the time the spell is cast has to make a perception check against the spell save to recognize the terrain as hazardous before they enter it. I like that spell.
Yeah, it's a good spell. Especially, like, if you are in an area where you know that you have to, like, set a trap ahead of time or whatever, so...
Yeah. The next one we have is a good cleric bread and butter spell. Spiritual Weapon. It's a bonus action to cast it. It is a bonus action to move it on subsequent turns. And it can let you have multiple attacks. So basically, you can attack someone with your action. You can use your bonus action to attack someone else with your spiritual weapon. Also, it does force damage, which is nice, because, again, not a lot of things are resistant to force damage. And you can flavor it however you like, which is fun. And then I think the only downside of Spiritual Weapon is that only gains a d8 for every 2 slot levels above second. So, like, if you cast it at level 3, it still only does 1d8. If you cast it at level 4, it does 2d8. And then level 6, 3d8. But it's nice to have as a bonus action to go with actions. Other actions that you can do. So like you could heal someone with your action and hit someone with a bonus action. It is a nice spell to have. Famously, Jester had it as a lollipop.
Giant lollipop, yep.
Um,
I think Shikasi used his as like a bust of a bunch of different people. Like
yeah.
one of them was like a Stell Getty, wasn't it?
Yep. He tried to have a bust of Nefertiti when they did the live show, and it just missed on every hit. It was when they were in the slavers.
Yeah, yep, in that cave thing with the gnolls. Or no. When they were in with
after when they were in
it was the iron something or other. Yeah,
Iron
those guys.
Shepherds. Yeah.
Now I remember. It's been a minute. Yeah. So, and it's a bonus action, which is good. So.
Yep.
Let's see. Suggestion. Concentration.
I've never used this.
Up to 8 hours. I have seen it used. I've never.
I don't often play the classes that are tied to this one. I think that's why. You suggest a course of activity limited to a sentence or two, and magically influence a creature you can see within range that can hear and understand you. Basically, you charm someone. You ask them to do something for you. You cannot ask them to do something that would cause them to harm themselves, because that would end the spell. They have to make a wisdom save to fight this. On a failed save, they pursue the course of action you describe to the best of their ability. The suggested course of action can continue for the entire duration, which is 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
If the suggested activity can be completed in a shorter time, the spell ends when the subject finishes what it was asked to do. You can also specify conditions that will trigger a special activity during the duration. For example, you might suggest that a knight give her warhorse to the first beggar she meets. If the condition isn't met before the spell expires, the activity is not performed. If you or your companions damage the person you cast this on, the spell ends.
Yes. So, yeah, it's a good spell. I like it.
Yeah.
Warding Bond. So I've used this one. I haven't used this one in a while because my character made the choice that because the requirements are 2 platinum rings, and so my character was like using their wedding bands as it, and they got rid of their wedding bands because they don't need them anymore, and so I haven't used this spell since. But it is a spell that clerics can take.
Yeah.
So
I used this when I had my Tempest cleric. Just because there were for a while there were only 2 people in our party.
Yeah.
It was like we had a bard and they left. We managed to get 2 other people, but I kept using this just with the fighter. It gives the person that you were connected with a +1 to their AC and their saving throws, and they have resistance to all damage. So it makes a tank even tankier.
And it lasts for an hour.
Yeah. The downside is every time they take damage, you take the same amount.
Rick.
So if you're not a very tanky cleric, could cause the spell to end. The spell ends if you drop to 0 hit points, or if you become separated by more than 60 feet.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You can also dismiss it if you want.
Hydrate, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and the requirements for that one are a pair of platinum rings worth 50 gold.
Yep.
So.
Ooh, we're getting down to the end.
Yeah. All right, web. I haven't used this one, but I've seen it used more for flavor than anything. I think one of our characters in Mistwalkers has a wand of web, and basically they use it to just stick people to the floor. But
I feel like you could use it to catch people.
Yeah, we considered using it for that for a purpose. Like when we were stuck on a plateau, and everybody was
Mhm.
like, it was my character and the bard, and we were just like, hey, you want to do something dumb and see if we can get down the side of this plateau? And yeah, so there was talk of using the wand of web to like catch whoever it was that like yeeted themselves off the side of the.
Oh, there you go. That would do it.
But it's more
They
smart.
do have to be anchored to between two solid masses, such as walls or trees, or layered across a floor, wall, or ceiling. The webs do create difficult terrain, so that is a nice
That's
perk.
helpful.
And it's a 20-foot cube, which is actually kind of big. Pretty good. I believe. Oh no, it's a dex save. I was gonna say I thought it was a strength save. Isn't Entangle a strength save?
I think it's a strength save to get out of it.
Oh,
But
maybe
this
that's
one
what
is
it
a
is.
dex save
So,
to get to
to avoid it.
Yep. Because this one, so this one you have to do a strength save to get out of it.
So, yeah, okay, so it's a dex save to avoid it. If they fail, they are restrained. If they are restrained, they can make a strength check to break out. Also, the webs are flammable.
Yes. They do.
And if
2d4 fire damage.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I realized that it specified for that.
Yeah, me either.
That's kind of
That's
nice.
fun.
Maybe we should use web more often.
We're learning stuff.
We're
as we go
learning
through this.
so much.
All right,
we're on the
level
last
2.
one.
Zone of Truth. This is a good spell if
That's
you're
a
doing
good
interrogation and
spell.
stuff like that. So,
it is important. It is important to note that if you cast it and you are in the radius, you also have to save against your own spell, I think.
Yeah, everybody
It's
has
just a 15-foot radius. A creature that enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts their turn there have to make a charisma save. On a failed save, they cannot speak a deliberate lie. You, as the caster, know whether each creature succeeds or fails.
I had this spell come back and bite me in the ass because Affy is a sneaky DM.
Wait, why? How?
And Mistwalkers, the leader of the village who gave me the fake diamond, they cast this spell on our party because they wanted information, and I purposely failed to save because I didn't have anything to hide. But yeah. So like you do.
I was gonna say it's important to note that while they cannot speak a lie, they also don't have to speak at all.
Yeah, they can choose not to answer the question.
I mean, I feel like that still gives something away, but if you're trying to use it to get information, they don't necessarily have to give it to you. They could just say nothing. Yeah. Yeah, it says like an affected creature is aware of the spell and can avoid answering questions to which it would normally respond with a lie. Such a creature can be evasive in its answers as long as it remains within the boundaries of the truth.
Yeah, like you do.
Yeah. Still a good spell, though. Still worth taking.
Yeah, especially if you know that you're going to be like, if you know that you're going to be doing interrogations or something that session, that's a good one to have.
Yep.
Like if you know ahead of time that you're going into a situation like that where you're going to have to deal with that. So
we just blew through.
Yeah, we're going to start going through them really fast now. Yeah. Like third level spells, there's only 3 pages. So we're going to start going through them really quick now. But getting through the cantrips and the first level spells was the hard part.
That took a while. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that brings us to the end of the level 2s, and we're at 2 hours, so it's good time to stop.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week because we missed last week, and I think next time around we're gonna talk about like spooky stuff though.
Yeah,
So.
we're gonna talk a little bit about. We're gonna pause on spells, talk a little bit about how to make a game spooky, and how to do it safely. So, we're gonna talk about that next week. Getting ready for Halloween. And don't forget to check out all the fun Spooktober stuff. I think we're probably gonna raid somebody. I don't know who. But there's a couple people that I can see online. So probably one of them.
Yeah.
Don't forget. We'll raid again next week. Yes.
Sweet and Lore.
We're raiding
Nice.
Sweet and Lore. Awesome. So we're gonna raid Sweet and Lore, and we'll stick around for the raid. Don't forget to donate to Extra Life. Check out the rest of our Extra Life Spooktober programming. We'll see you soon. Bye.